crawled closer to Lady Clare, across the floor where I had been thrown. How long ago? An hour? 2 hours? It was hard to think of ordinary time when we had experienced such an extraordinary horror on this day. It was quiet now, a relief for the moment, as the screaming and spitting crowd had gone from under our window, presumably to their beds. The fear of their return swiftly followed, of course, for we were prisoners in this room, available to them for any form of torture or death, once they had obtained the keys and unlocked the door, which they surely would. Lady Clare sat very still on the only chair, upright and looking ahead towards the fading light from the barred window. What reckless part of me had tied my fate to hers so readily, when I was a commoner myself? I could so easily have run with the crowd and been safe. I knew, though, that I could never count myself as one of their number, when such cruelty as I had seen this very afternoon was considered right and just. It was hard to see my lady's expression in the gloom, but her shoulders had begun to shake and shiver, and fright for my own sake was overtaken by compassion for her. I'd had a choice of sides to pick after all, a split second, it's true, but she had none. As the people had surged across the courtyard, they wanted no less than death for her and her family. "You would not hurt me, Louisa?" There was a question in her voice. "No, no, my lady. I'm here to defend you, though my life will be lost with yours in the morning." I cried a little with my head in her lap. We were both so young. I was 17 and Lady Clare just 16, and surely not responsible for starving the people in the countryside. I had heard that those of noble birth were being guillotined in Paris, but those who attacked in this area did not wait for executions and slaughtered their victims wherever they were found. "Oh, Lady Clare," I sobbed, suddenly more upset by seeing a large rip on the sleeve of her gown than anything else. I remembered the delicate stones flying off as she was pulled to and fro between a swarthy man with blood on his tunic and James, our groom, who tried to saddle the horses for our escape. In fact, James had saved her life, as the mob had turned on him, plunging and thrusting with their knives, swinging wooden clubs until he was dead. Others had died that day. We'd heard the screams as we were bundled into this room. There were divisions within the mob, with some calling for reason and trying to apprehend the family rather than butcher them, but I did not hold out much hope that they would win the day, and felt certain that come the morning the moderates would have to hand over the keys. "Will they spare us, do you think?" my lady asked. I shook my head. "Then we must escape," she cried, and leapt to her feet, moving quickly around the room, checking the bars at the window and looking for a way out or a place to hide. There was none. I had retreated against the stone wall. The creeping coldness on my back felt like approaching death. Lady Clare still rushed about, now beating her fists on the door. Like a butterfly against the glass, I thought. Then a miracle happened and the door swung open. Lady Clare did not hesitate, but rushed through and away down the passage, which was thankfully empty. I followed quickly, catching at her sleeve as I reached her. "Wait, wait, this may be a trap. Where are you going?" She laughed at me. "Why, you think a death cell preferable to an open door?" "No, but we must think. A hasty action may yet get us killed." We had passed several open doors along the passage. It was obvious that the crowd were for killing rather than imprisoning. So why had we been thus far spared? "My lady, you cannot go out as you are. We must disguise you so you may pass unnoticed among the people. If we can get to my room, if you would put on my linen dress—" Lady Clare was ahead of my thoughts now, pulling out clips and combs from her hair and tugging it roughly to loosen. "I will wait here, Louisa." We both looked around for a hiding place, the only possibilities being under the large desk which was stationed at the divide of the passages, or behind one of the cell doors which stood wide open. Can you bear to go in that cell, Lady Clare? I think behind the door would be safer, as a guard may return to the desk. Yes, yes. She was already in and soon out of sight, so I hurried towards the big oak door, which I hoped would let me outside. With huge relief I could see it was unbolted, so I was able to go out without noise and get my bearings. I was at the back of the house and saw light from the windows on the first floor. Voices and, yes, music reached me. A celebration? The rest of the house was dark, which gave me hope that I could reach my room unobserved. I was very familiar with the lie of the house and headed quickly to the door that led to the back stairs. This too was open. I prayed that my luck would hold. My breath was coming in short gasps as I reached the attics. I'd hardly dared breathe as I passed the lower floors, but here was my door, and I felt a little safer. As I reached for the knob, the door behind me opened, and there was Mrs. Kinchin, the cook, and others of the household. I waited for her to speak, unable to read her face and fearing her words. But she put her arms out and pulled me to her. I cried so much then that others came forward to shush me. "They killed James," I sobbed. "He tried to help. They set upon us in the courtyard. Is the family dead? Are we to be killed by the traitors?" I couldn't stop talking, though everyone was trying to quiet me. The light in the room was one candle only, so I was unsure who spoke next. The Duke and Duchess were put to death in the great hall, cut down where they stood together. We could do nothing. A few from the village, but mostly strangers, came as a mob from the town. I peered into the room. "Is that you, John?" "Yes, miss. We're so glad you are safe. Some of the staff have run away, and some have even joined the traitors, at this moment drinking the Duke's wine and ransacking the house." His voice shook a little. "There is no excuse for this. They are the ones who should face the guillotine." "Lady Clare!" I stepped back. "I have no time to lose. I need to take her some plain clothing so that she can pass as one of us." "She's alive. We thought all the family dead." "Don't bring her or they will kill us all." Bridget the scullery maid's voice was shaky. Mrs. Kinchin reacted angrily. "Be quiet, girl. Do you expect us to hand her over to be killed by the rabble? We could not protect her parents, who put a roof over your head, but we can at least help Lady Clare escape their clutches. I just thank God that the young ones are away with their nursemaids, and pray that this madness does not reach Brittany." Bridget was nodding. "Yes, yes. Give her clothing and let her escape, but do not let the traitors find her with us." "You did not unlock the cell door for us then?" I was puzzled. "After James was killed, some of the crowd were not for the violence and locked us away, and yet later someone quietly unlocked the door." John and Mrs. Kinchin exchanged glances. "There's been talk of savagery and bestial treatment of young girls, under the excuse of revolution." She pulled me to her again. "They would have come for you, and it suited their evil appetite. We can only thank God that one among them had a Christian heart." "Then quickly let us get back to Lady Clare. She's in such danger downstairs." I hurried to my room and collected suitable garments, poor though they were. A moment later John followed me. "We do think it wise for Lady Clare to leave here in all haste. I'm willing to see if I can find her a mount." "Then I must go too, or she will not manage, and I cannot see her try. I own that I do not think I could manage without her either. We have become very close." John sighed. "It will be difficult to retrieve 2 horses from the stable without noise. But there is such a din and so much drunkenness, no doubt in the Duke's apartments, that I think I can do it." We went separately down the stairs, and I soon found Lady Clare, quietly seated on the floor behind the door, having already removed her dress and pulling off some of the embellishments. "These are pearls, Louisa, and these on the neckline diamonds. We shall need them. They will pay for our escape." I must have looked for she misunderstood me. "You are coming with me, dearest Louisa?" "I suppose you might not, but I desperately need you. You will have earned a large reward when we reach my cousins in England." I took her hand. "Do not doubt it, my lady, and it is not for any reward. My destiny is tied to yours now. I will be with you whatever befalls us." "No more my lady then, dearest sister. Help me with the pearls." With our bounty hidden about our persons, we crept out through the heavy door. I was surprised to see John there already, with our own horses. "They had run loose after the attack, my lady, but luckily soon came home to graze, so I did not need to bring horses from the yard." "Godspeed to you both. There is a good road to the coast, where you will surely get a ship bound for England." I kissed him then, no more the shy maiden. I'd always felt a softness in my heart for John. Mrs. Kinchin too had ventured downstairs. The noise from the apartment seemed to be getting louder, and there was the sound of glass breaking. "What will you do, Mrs. Kinchin?" I asked. "Nothing, Louisa. This will pass, and order will be restored, I'm sure. And after all, these revolutionaries are supposed to be doing this for the likes of us, so we shall be safe. Go quickly now." We did not speak as we rode cautiously around the edge of the park, keeping to the shadows where we could, in case anyone was on guard, though that seemed unlikely. Traitors had been the right description of those men, and I did worry for the staff we had left behind. We reined in as we came to the road for a last look back. Everywhere was dark except for the first floor apartments, which were ablaze with light. "Come on, Louisa," called Claire as she turned away and urged her horse forward. She did not see as I did, with a sinking heart, that the blazing light was spreading, the glow brighter as the flames took hold.